What's up, guys? You got your boy Groovies here today. Welcome to San Diego, California. Today we're going to do a quick video on how to start and run a lean clothing line. So yes, we're talking about lean as in the lean manufacturing, merchandising system that we talked about in the last video. And the overall general lean principles, of course, come from the manufacturing world. And as you guys may or may not know, lean is all about identifying and eliminating waste in the processes that you run every day around your business. So yes, they come out of the manufacturing world, but these are very generic principles that you can apply to really any workflow, any process that you're doing. And it's all about creating the most value by eliminating waste in your process and by creating as much value as possible for your end customers and doing that as efficiently as possible. So you really need to jump in and think about the different types of waste that you are creating or that you're getting hung up in. And until you kind of think about the categories of waste, it may be hard to identify exactly what you could do in your process to be more efficient. So let's just get started. The first type of waste is overproduction. This one's like super obvious. It just, in the context of a clothing line, it really just screams out doing giant bulk runs up front, right? So if you're gonna go and screen print 100 items and kind of take your best guess at different sizes and different quantities that people may purchase, you're likely gonna run into a scenario of overproduction, meaning that you're gonna probably have to make too many because you're gonna wanna get your costs lower, so you want more quantity. It's not to say that you should never run bulk production. It's just to say, like, be very careful when you're thinking about doing any type of bulk production, because you can quickly overproduce, create too many of a single item. It also kind of happens within sizes. Maybe you create not enough smalls but too many larges. This is why in general doing on-demand production and doing drop shipping is something that's like 2 thumbs up in terms of lean clothing line. It basically means instead of doing supply and then demand, you flip it backwards. You let a customer demand a product by purchasing it from you, and then you go ahead and supply the exact size, the exact SKU that customer needs. So you're delivering exactly what your customer wants, exactly when they need it. And when you keep that in alignment, you can reduce a tremendous amount of waste when it comes to overproducing. The next type of waste is inventory. This one is obviously directly related to overproduction. If you have, if you order 100 things, you got to sit on that inventory until you can sell through it. Inventory is wasteful, not only in the space that it takes up in your life. Maybe you have like a closet full of inventory, but as you get bigger, you're gonna have to get a warehouse, racks. So there's gonna be some serious holding costs to inventory. Inventory also relates to unfinished product as well, like work in progress. So if you're thinking like, I'm just gonna go direct to this manufacturer like Gildan or Bella and hit their minimums and then hold the inventory, and I can use that over the next year to fulfill, a couple different collections, that also has some waste tied to it. Even though it's not finished product, it's still work in progress. And if those things aren't being delivered like directly to a manufacturer to start work on, there's a little bit of waste that's going into basically like holding that inventory. Which leads us into the third type of waste, which is just waiting. So if you just have work in progress sitting in your closet that isn't being turned into finished product for your customers, that's just a type of waste that you have, and it's just waiting. Another one that we talked about last week with the lean merchandising system is just waiting on a big collection. So let's say you have 3 or 4 different pieces of artwork finished, you're waiting for the 5th, the 6th, the 7th type of artwork. You could be releasing those 1, 2, and 3 pieces of artwork and not necessarily have to wait for numbers 5, 6, and 7. So anytime that you're just queuing up big batch processes and not delivering incremental value to customers along the way, you're keeping people waiting 1 month, 2 months, 3 months for your next collection or your next drop. that's waiting, and it's wasteful. You could be delivering that value to customers much more quickly. The fourth type of waste is motion. Any kind of added movement in your process that you need to do is wasteful. So like, hey, if you're buying your base garments from one person, then you're picking them up, bringing them to your house, and then you're driving them over to the embroidery shop, and then a week later you're picking them up and you're taking them to a screen printing shop. You might be thinking that you're getting the best possible price because the total amount of money you're spending could be less. If you factor in everything like your time, if you bill yourself at $0 an hour, if you're not charging for the miles on your car, the gas in your car, all of those different things, that wasted motion of moving the products around and putting it all together, definitely just consider keeping those things in mind as you're planning out your overall manufacturing process. Things that may seem cheaper up front aren't really cheaper at the end of the day, and it's not creating the most value for your customers when you're just simply like trying to pinch a couple pennies here and there. But at the end of the day, maybe it takes longer, or your quality isn't on par because it was put together by a bunch of different people. So the sixth type of waste is rework. If you are basically like not a trained graphic designer, but you're doing all your own artwork, you're putting in your orders together, you're getting samples, and then you get them and you're like, it's not what I wanted, it's not right, and you have to do it a second time or a third time. That's basically rework, and it's just wasteful. It takes more time and more energy and more cost to deliver a final proper sample. So any corners that you're cutting in terms of getting artwork like fully prepared, that's a great spot to where you can like hone in on, work with a really solid graphic designer, making sure things are prepared really well, making sure you communicate with your vendor really well, what you're looking for, making sure your mock-ups are accurate. Basically, the more detail you can put up front into your design process, the less chance you have of rework, and the more chance you're going to get a product that you love the first time around and you're not continually reworking stuff. The last type of waste is it's called over-processing. It's basically doing more than what's required to satisfy your customers. And so it's kind of like an interesting one. You really have to have a strong conceptualization around like, what is the value that you're creating for your customers? Am I a luxury brand, and so people are buying me for exclusivity and just for like that feeling of ultimate luxury? Or am I building a community of people so they can self-identify and they kind of know who their peers are, they know where they're coming from? Are you telling a story with your brand, or are you driving a purpose or a mission with your apparel? All of those things are really important to understand because they provide you a good basis for not over-processing what you're doing. So basically you want to make just enough to make your customers like super excited about your product, but not more than that. You don't need to do a lot more because it just drives more cost, more complexity into your process and into your end products than is necessary, right? So you can think of like an example like Tom's, right? Like Tom's footwear. And their purpose was really like a philanthropy type of thing where they want to provide shoes for children who don't have shoes, right? And so the design of their shoes overall in the beginning was very simple. It was like a bare minimum shoe. But what that shoe allowed them to do is to make a second pair of shoes and to give it away. And so from like, they conceptualized the amount of processing, like what goes into their product very well. And they made sure to leave enough room there to be able to donate a pair. And that was really indispensable to getting their cause out there, to overall marketing their product and their brand. So just think about it like this way, like if you want to put together a collection for Supima cotton because you just heard about it, it's the best type of cotton, right? But your customers don't know what Supima cotton is, or they don't care about Supima cotton, you are setting yourself up for over-processing. Basically, you're going to go out there, spend a bunch of time and energy and cost sourcing this really amazing type of cotton for t-shirts. But at the end of the day, if your customers don't care, if they're not extracting all the value out of that that you are putting into it, then you have a mismatch there, and it's out of balance. So just think of over processing. Another way to do it is by putting like 87 different artworks on a single garment, which, hey, it could create a really cool aesthetic, but could you get the intent of that design across in a more simple way? If you could, you should probably do it. So those are the 7 core types of waste that if you're thinking about running a lean clothing line, you should be thinking about eliminating those types of waste. There's also an 8th one. This is like a little bonus layup for you. Basically, it's like the untapped potential of your human resources. So if it's just you, what are things that you are really great at, that you have skills in, and make sure that you're using those to the utmost. If you have friends or family members that have very specific skills or assets, can you use those? If so, you should really tap in and use them. Anyways, guys, those are the 7 types of waste, or 8 types of waste, and hopefully this has been helpful in helping you think through how you can be more efficient in terms of your clothing line and just the way that you're going about doing things. Keep an open mind to reducing waste overall. So I hope that has helped you. If this video was helpful, smash the like button. Post a comment if you guys have questions about running a lean clothing line. We want to know about that. If there's other topics that you guys want us to cover over on the Apliiq channel here, please drop those in the comments box. We definitely want to get a little Q&A going. Make sure to subscribe for 1 video per week. Hit the subscribe button. Peace be with you.